And in fact, in the last 24 hours, it has been quite a profitable journey for us on the US All Spot. And let's run through how the week started for us in this community. So at the beginning of the week, we saw this bearish gap giving us an insight into the institutional sentiment during the course of the weekend. However, something interesting happened during the first 12 hours of the week as we saw price action was confined within the $77 area and of course the $76.50 level to give us an insight into the level of indecision in this particular market. And if you recall vividly what I said here yesterday, I told us all that I already had a buy positions at the breakout of the $77 area and of course the $77.20 level. And I made mention here that for those who had missed out on this opportunity, that you could position yourself at a retest of structure to capture that move to the upside, and that was exactly what happened here as we saw price action move over how many pips was that? About 190 pips in our favor before this old chopper situation began. So for those who took advantage of this opportunity, well done to you for being on standby, as you will currently have a minimum of how many pips now? About 147 pips in your kitty at this point in time. Now you know how we do it when price action moves significantly well in our favor. The next thing we want to be doing right now is to move our stop losses to secure this current buy position. And for me, I'm of the opinion that we want to be moving all stop losses to anywhere around the $78.20 area and the $77.80 level. And the reason why we are having something a wide zone is simply because we want to give enough room for price action to breed. Probably there could be some retracement phase before the next bullish momentum happens. So with a well secured position at this point in time, what is going to be our next line of action for today's trading session? Now, looking at the current structure we have here, it's quite obvious that the week has started on a very strong bullish note as we have witnessed this strong impulsive move into that $79 level. And in fact, as soon as price got into that zone, we begin to see sell pressure resume around that area. And in fact, this sell pressure has led into a situation where price has been caught within a range for the last 14 hours. And with the situation here, it is quite clear that the market is very, very indecisive at this point in time. And you all know how we do it in this community. When price action falls into this kind of range, we want to wait patiently for a signal to happen where a breakout of the resistance line will give us an opportunity to buy, and the breakdown of the support line will give us an opportunity to sell. Now, if we consider the impulsive move that led us to this point, it is very possible, it is very likely that this consolidation phase here could transition into a trend continuation pattern. We're having something like a flag pattern, bullish rectangular pattern, where the breakout of that resistance line will be that signal we are looking for to join a trend continuation. However, in as much as this old pattern has a potential of inciting a bullish move, we cannot ignore the potentials of sellers at this particular point in time. As if we look at this from a psychological standpoint, majority in the market who had bought the US All Spot at a very cheap price, let's say around the $76.50 level, just as it did yesterday, will at one point want to be doing some profit taking activity, closing in some of their position, which of course would reflect on the chart as a retracement of that previous impulse leg in anticipation of an uptrend continuation. So what I have did here is to take into consideration the potentials of sellers too if price action ever breaks down that support line of that flat channel we just identified here. And if we look at what has been going on here in the last couple of hours, we already have a breakdown of that support line here at a $78.50 level. Now, the question here is, will this breakdown be a signal for a retracement phase? And of course, from a technical standpoint, whenever we have a breakdown of a key structure such as the $78.50 level, we expect that at some point price would retest the structure to incite a move in that direction. And please note that this is going to be a counter trend opportunity if price action goes on to continue below the $78.50 level. So if you are a counter trend trader, a scalper, and you feel comfortable taking counter trend opportunities, then you want to be having a sell stop order below the $78.50 level to capitalize on a minimum of 75 pips to a maximum of 200 pips move before we start looking out for buying opportunity. So as a result of this, I was able to project where price might likely get to before the beginning of the second wave of bullish momentum. And to get that, we used our Fibonacci retracement tool. So in fact, we have two impulse leg which I took into consideration. The first one is this one that started this week, as you will see here, and the second one is this one that started last week Friday. So I took the two into consideration. So what I did here is to run my Fibonacci retracement tool, run it through the previous impulse leg, and we aim at an area between the 50 and the 78.6% of that previous impulse leg. So we have this area. Then I also took this one too. So we matched it together to give us an area, a golden zone area to look out to serve as a potential TP target for counter trend traders who will take advantage of the breakdown retest of the $78.50 level. So that is how we are going to be capitalizing on this one. So if you are a counter trend trader, you want to be joining that move to the downside. But for me personally, I would rather wait for price action to come into anywhere around the zone where I want to be looking out for patterns that will support a trend continuations. And when we are looking out for patterns here, we want to see something like either a double bottom structure to join an uptrend continuation, or probably a head and shoulder pattern where price continue to reject the zone again to incite another wave of bullish momentum. So this is how we are going to be managing our position if price action comes to break down that $78.50 level. So with that being said here, there is another perspective to this market which is needed to be taken into consideration too. And that is the fact that price action has been bullish, at least in the last couple of weeks now. And for me, the range we have here has a potential of being broken to the upside. So a breakout of the $79 level will definitely welcome buy position. Now, for those who have been profitable on the US oil spot so far this week, we have a profits in our kitty that we can leverage on to test waters around that $79 area. So I'm risking a buy stop order above the structure to capitalize on a trend continuation if price action ever breaks out that 79 level. Now, for those who are new to this market, that is, you haven't been part of this profitable journey we have so far, at this point, if price breaks out of the $79 level, capitalizing on a buy position there will need confirmations to happen. So in order to capitalize on that move, this is for those who are new to the US oil spot for today. So what we will be looking out for is a breakout of the $79 level. Once we sight the breakout of the 79 level, we scale down into our lower time frame. It could be your 5-minute, 10 or 15 minutes time frame to look out for signs that sellers are finding it difficult to drop back below or stay below the $79 area, and this would reflect on the chart as a retest of structure, continue by pressure, then we want to be part of that uptrend continuation. So that is how we are going to be joining any move here if price action refused to drop below the $78.50 level. So it's a simple setup we have on the US all spot. So let's be on standby to maximize the potential of any trading opportunity around this area. So I was able to spot a counter trend opportunity below the $78.50 level for counter trend traders. Why I said if price drops to the downside, I will personally wait for price to come within the zone where I will be looking out for reversal patterns anywhere above or around within anywhere around this area to join a trend continuation to the upside. So these are my views here on the US All Spot for today. If you do have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10-15 seconds off to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move on to the next instrument, and you can as well use that time to mark out these levels and zones on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your trading activity for today.